Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tapping Out podcast. My name is Chris, bringing you another exciting guest here today. We are joined by Vicky Dreamboat. She is a 100-ton master captain, a pro wrestler, actor, model, and improv comedian as well. She studies with the Nightmare Factory. Can't wait to get into this one. Enough talk. Let's get right into it. Hello, Vicky. Great to see you on the show. Thanks very much for taking the time to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm sorry. I'm so excited to be here. I had to cut you off.
So we were just chatting just before we started the camera. And you're saying you've just been riding your bike around the beaches of Florida. How was it today?
That's right. Beautiful. It was gorgeous. We're doing the grand opening of the improv comedy theater that my fiance owns that I work for here. So I was going around handing out flyers and trying to be friendly to everybody, but I only live about a 10-minute bike ride from the beach. Mm-hmm. So it's a thing that I do often, and my gym is right there. So I go to the gym, ride my bike, maybe have a couple drinks depending on whether or not I'm doing an interview that day, and then hang out. So it was beautiful. It's gorgeous, like 80 degrees out today.
Ah, man, that's like, I woke up this morning and in China, it's a little bit chilly. I went outside for a quick drink, just a quick swig of water just to get ready. And I'm like, this morning, I was like, it's a little chilly. It's a little chilly. Yeah, and the rain's coming. Yeah, the rain's coming. The rain's coming again soon. We're getting to that point in May here in Asia where we get a lot of rain again. So yeah, but then, in a month or two, fingers crossed. It's just but then it's just too hot.
Yeah, it gets kind of like sweltering, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just too hot.
Yeah. It's kind of like no good options at that point. And at least here, you can always pop inside and get away from the heat with the AC, but I would not be able to handle, what do you get, like 110 degrees or something crazy?
Yes, something crazy. Yes, something crazy. And it's funny because obviously being from the UK, at least when I was younger, and I would hear people say 110 degrees, I'm like, what? I'd be dead, because obviously we use Celsius. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, if I hear 110 when I was younger, I was like, I got really scared. I was like, mommy, no.
We're in the burning hellfires.
All right, so first question, Vicky. This is the most important question ever that you will ever hear to start off a podcast. I guarantee it. Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I was born ready. How dare you doubt me?
Okay, Vicky, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
That's a really good question. And you're right, I was not ready. It's very hard. One horse-sized duck. I think one horse-sized duck, and here's why.
Thank you very much for giving the reason too, yes.
There's a massive duck, but less to deal with. 100 duck-sized horses, there's a lot of hooves. They probably still have horse-like strength.
And horses can still kick, horse-like strength. And I'm thinking about it like Ant-Man. So it's like, the strength is compounded. So they probably...
It's all up here, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I think I'd go with the one. At least my odds are better. I've only got one thing to focus on.
And you probably just run away. You wouldn't even fight it. You just run.
Oh, I'm not going to run from a good fight. No.
Oh, okay.
No. No, unless he's not fighting fair, and then, I might run.
All right. Okay. Next question. If all of your clothes had to be one color forever, what color would you pick?
Teal. Like that anchor back there.
Right, yeah. We're going to get to the anchor in a bit. But teal, yeah? So, interesting. How come?
It's my favorite color, and I look decent in it, so I know that I could pull off, like, teal pants is close enough to, because you didn't say anything about the material, so I could wear denim teal, like teal leggings, right?
Yeah.
And I'd just be teal girl. I would have to change. Teal Piper.
Teal girl. That would be your superhero name, maybe. Yeah, teal girl.
Yeah. A little bit of a gimmick change here. We'll be fine. We'll make it work. Easy.
All right. Okay. And last one. Yeah. If you could create one holiday, and it's probably quite difficult because I think in America you have a holiday for pretty much every day. But let's say you have a chance to create one new holiday. What would you create?
Oh man, yeah, there is kind of a holiday. I learned just the other day that there was a National Harry Potter Day in the States, which
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'll take it. I'm not mad at it, but why? This is like the corniest, dumbest answer, but probably like National Laughter Day, where everybody here's the qualifications. Everybody has to attempt or attend a comedy show.
Okay.
So they have to either participate as like a comedian in whatever form they want, like even if that means like dance comedy, because I guess that's a thing, or they have to attend. Everybody has to do it, or I don't know, you get killed on site. I don't know what the actual consequences are, but that would be my holiday.
Yeah, as vague as possible, as brief, I would. Well, I was going to say before I just answer that too, I was going to say, what's the biggest comedian you've ever seen live? Biggest stand-up show you've ever been to as a fan?
I saw Eliza Schlesinger, 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know. I have no concept of the passage of time, but some time ago, I got to see her when I was living in Seattle when she came, and that was probably the biggest one I saw on tour. I also saw Hari Kondabolu when he came to Seattle. That was very cool. Mm-hmm. Those are the biggest ones. I think people assume often because I'm into improv comedy, I know a lot about stand-up, but it's actually, I know precious little. It's quite embarrassing. Yeah. I don't know that much. I really don't. Like, who's your favorite stand-up? And I'm like, friends.
I got a chance to, you may have heard of him. He's quite popular in the States too. I got a chance to see Jimmy Carr. That's probably the, that's probably cool. The highest, the most popular guy for sure. I'm actually surprised that for the holiday, you didn't say like national, well, maybe it already exists, but National Pro Wrestling Day or something, honestly.
I didn't. I thought it would be too easy. What would your holiday be?
Probably National Pro Wrestling Day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't want to take
everyone has to go and take a bump on concrete, let's say.
Yeah, hard pass.
Everyone.
No, I will not.
Women, children, and everyone.
Lock me up. Like
the Titanic, women and children first. Come and take your wrestling bumps.
It's like the opposite, though. Like, instead of saving them, you just damn them. Terrible.
For the kids, I get a thin crash mat. Oh, that's really sadistic.
All right, that's fair. That's
fair. Yeah.
A little crash pad I would do. Not the only time I will ever take a bump on concrete is there's 2 times. One is for the right dollar amount, which I will not say yet because somebody will probably offer it to me. And 2 is for a crowd of people who really, really want to see it and who really care a lot and would be really happy about it.
All right, good stuff.
Currently, though.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, so we're all kind of nicely warmed up. So we're going to jump into what's been going on for you at the moment. How have the last, I like to say 6 to 12 months. Let's stick with 6. How have the last 6 months been? I can see your Twitter at the moment, and your Twitter's going nuts nowadays. And
yeah, I've been
getting
really
more and more popular. Yeah, and just tell us about what's been going on.
Sure, thank you. I'm pretty bad at Twitter, so I'm quite fortunate that people are willing to follow me and be patient with me. I'm much better on Instagram, but I would say the past 6 months have been completely nuts. I've basically really started training wrestling in September, October of last year. I was I dipped my toes into the wrestling world. I had done a couple of pre-recorded matches. I'd had 2 live matches before I went to the Nightmare Factory. In October of 2021, I went to the Nightmare Factory, had all these cool opportunities lined up, had all this stuff. Like, I was starting to really build some traction. And then at the end of November, I broke my foot at the Nightmare Factory.
No way.
Yeah. So from November, December, January, February until the beginning of March, I was out. It was a really bad break. I had to have surgery. It was terrible, devastating. And I was fortunate that it made me like really focus on my upper body lifting. So, because I wanted to stay in shape. So I was like, for the first time in my life, I got abs. That was exciting for me.
I have never had abs. I have never had abs. I have a 6-pack of beer.
Hey, that's something. That's something. It's always on hand. Keeps you warm. But that was devastating and really hard. And also, I wouldn't change it for the world because it made me so, and this sounds corny, but it made me so much stronger and so much more fit for wrestling, because every single time, not only I'm not more cautious, I'm actually way wilder now than I was before in the ring, because I have fewer dams to give. Is it all right to swear? Sorry.
Yeah, you can. But damn is okay. But yeah,
that would not have been my choice, but then I realized, like, I was trying to edit myself. But yeah, and then I finished. So I did 2 Nightmare Factory camps back to back in the past 6 months. So I finished out the last camp. I only missed a week of it while I was hurt. I was just there sitting ringside with a broken foot on my crutches, hobbling around, like trying to absorb as much as I could from the coaches, taking notes, sitting next to Coach Glacier and hearing his stories and, all of that. And then I finally got to do the showcase in the camp 6. And that was in, what was last month? April. That was in April.
Well done. Well done. Gold star for you. No,
thank you. Thank you. I already said I have no concept of the passage of time. So really, like, the fact that I even know what day it is
right.
incredible.
Especially at the moment, as you say, the last 6 months, it's just everything's just, like that scene in Thor, Thor Ragnarok, where it's just like
going and going. Yep, 100%. That's correct. Yeah,
you're
I feel like
I'm you're in hyperspace on the Millennium Falcon, right?
Oh man, I wish. That sounds great. But yeah, that's what's been going on for me. I've got several bookings coming up, which is really fun. And I'm grateful for that and lots of cool opportunities. So I'm healed from the injury, and that's the biggest thing. Just kind of slowly still doing PT, still getting my literally my feet back under me. But that's all a lot.
Nice. So and your injury, with your broken foot, is that the most serious injury you've had to date?
Yes, it is. I had actually had surgery on that foot before, but it was it was a strange situation where I had just broken my toe and then walked around on it for about 4 years because I was like, well, that hurts, but I know, bitch. And so I just walked around like just not realizing. And finally I was
That's
like,
fine.
all right, this hurts a lot.
I can still walk. Yeah, I can still walk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, this hurts a lot. I can't fit in my shoe. So I went to the doctor. They were like, oh, this is fully broken. And now we have to remove the bone from your toe.
Jesus Christ. I thought you were going to say you have to remove the toe. I was like, ah.
No, still got it. But I'm one less bone in there. And it was on the same foot. So I imagine that's probably why it broke, is because the structural integrity was already compromised. Right. So it's my most serious wrestling injury so far, besides like concussions, but who remembers those?
Yeah, 50 whatever. So who were your, let's stay with the Nightmare Factory, because it's really interesting. I'm actually wearing a Cody Rhodes t-shirt today.
Oh yeah, you are. I love it.
And I actually interviewed someone from the game series that this t-shirt is based on, and he was like, "What? That's so cool!" And then we got talking about, how video games and wrestling crosses. But yeah, so this is obviously Cody Rhodes' shirt. Did you ever get a chance to meet him? I'm curious.
Oh yeah, he was there. He's very present. Both Coach QT, Coach Cody, and actually all 3 Coach Glacier are there very, very regularly. They kind of take turns, because obviously they're all very busy. They're living in the wrestling world, doing the thing that they're teaching. But sure. Cody's wonderful. I was fortunate enough to get one-on-one training from him, both for promos and in-ring training with him and with Brandy. And that was really special. Very cool. Like just the nicest, most down-to-earth, wonderful people that you'll ever meet. I can't say enough good things about them.
I can imagine, and like they're active like all over the place, both him and Brandy. Obviously, like him going to WWE is probably the biggest news, one of the biggest pieces of wrestling news the last 12 months, I would say. What are your opinions about it? Like, it's huge, yeah. And I've talked to some of the guys and girls about it. But what about yourself? What are your opinions on his move?
I have a few. I think it's wonderful. I think it's great. I think he's killing it. I think that I kind of was there while the whole transition was happening, like when his contract was up and everybody was asking what was happening at the school. And of course, like I can't talk on specifics. I've signed an NDA, but I can say that it was very cool to be there during the whole process. And so because I had that like almost insider perspective on it, I'm a 1,000,000% behind it. Like watching your coach on WrestleMania when nobody knew it was going to be him, or people had suspected but there was no confirmation, and being like, I just saw that guy literally 3 days ago and had a conversation with him about wrestling and about
now he's made 80,000 people lose their mind. Like
now he's on, frankly, this is my time to swear, now he's on my fucking TV just right there. It's incredible. So yeah, I can't say, again, like I just can't say enough good, excited, positive things about it. It's really cool to see him there. And it's so cool for the Nightmare Factory to have both Coach QT and Cody in different promotions now too, because you're getting to see the 2 different products that your coaches are very, very obviously like high up in, and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Struggling with language today. Sorry. It's super cool. That's the baseline of it.
Super cool. Yeah, good stuff. All right, nice one. So let's talk a little bit about your gimmick, the Dreamboat gimmick. I love it. I love the last name. And I'm looking at your Twitter bio, and for the intro, I filmed the intro before we started, and the first thing I said was the 100-ton master captain. And I see in the background you have this anchor. So
I do.
Yeah, how long have you been boating for? And
I started in 2014. I moved to Alaska with my then boyfriend. No longer. I'm engaged to a different guy who's way cooler now. But he was working as a deckhand on fishing boats, and he introduced me to a friend of a friend in Alaska. And the guy who owned a boat company, he owned 2 big boats that did like whale watching, natural history, and wildlife tours. And so he met me and he said, well, you've got some personality. That's fine. You've never worked on boats, but we'll try you out for a week and we'll see how it goes. And I ended up becoming the co-manager and VP of his company.
Wow.
And I got my captain's license and was the only captain in training at the time under the very, very qualified captains that he had there. So that's where I got all of my experience. So it's been several years now. I just got my I got my license, I think, I want to say 2018, because it takes quite a while to get enough sea time. And luckily I was working enough. But they do it. You have to have 360 days on the water, 45 of which have to be in the past 90 days at the time of application for your license. And so now I would not qualify for that because I haven't been working as much on boats because I've been busy on other stuff. But that's when I started
wrestling. Yeah. No, that thing called wrestling. Yeah. That's what you've been busy doing.
So many things.
Yeah, to me, what you just said then, especially about the 360 days on the water and that, it just sounds to me like it's so much more intense than like driving a car, and for how it was just to get a driving license,
Oh yeah, it's no joke. The test that you have to take is a 4-part exam. It's 3 parts written, 1 part it's also written, but it's practical because you're charting. So you literally it's a 10-question test, but if you get within 2 decimal points off from the answer, then it disqualifies the whole test, and you have 3 shots to take it before they make you retake the class and re-get your sea time, kind of thing. That's not exactly accurate, but it's a very difficult test. I was surprised that I passed it in the first try, personally. Really hard.
Good stuff. Just back to the Nightmare Factory. So when you first, from what you can share about it, when you first walked in, through those doors, what was your first impression of as you're looking and seeing what's going on?
Yeah, definitely. I said this on a podcast not a week ago, I think. I walked in and it was like being at Disneyland, but better. You walk in and there's 4 wrestling rings. It's a world-class facility. Like, you have to walk through this gym that has all the weights, all of the machines, just everything that you could possibly imagine being a lifter, being into fitness that you could want. And you walk through and you see 4 wrestling rings in this corner. And you're like, whoa, I'm really in the place where it happens right now. So I was certainly overwhelmed, I would say, but it's overwhelmed and overjoyed.
Yeah, nice one. All right, good stuff. And let's move into like your improv career then. The comedian career. When did all that kick off?
Oh man, good question. I got to think about that. So
you got so many eggs in different baskets,
There's so many of them. There's so many of them. It's the worst is when you get the wrong egg in the wrong basket and you're like, why am I on a boat right now? Oh, I'm working. I'm not supposed to be in a show. Whoops. So I started doing improv in 2019. I had kind of done a little bit before because I was a professional actor in Seattle. And so it's like, it was like in my tool belt, but it wasn't something that I had become practiced at. And I actually auditioned for this show in Seattle called Glimmer, which my best friend, who's actually going to be my maid of honor, came up with. And it was based off of the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, but it was the Glamorous Ladies improvising, maybe more eventually wrestling with a W, something like that. And that's when I really started doing it, was 2019. But then of course, 3 months into 2020, there was no improv to be had because there was no human interaction to be had. So I don't really count that year. So 2019 and then 2021 again. My fiance has been doing it for about 20 years and he owns the company here. And I pretend like I work for him. That's what I always say. Like, I run the social media and do all the marketing, but it's so much fun and so easy. And then I get to play in the shows. It's worth it. So I'd say like 1.5 years cumulatively is how long I've been doing it.
Did you think you were going to meet your fiance through improv, or did you think you were going to meet the future man through wrestling? You just didn't know it, and at one point.
No, It was so unexpected the way that it all went down.
Yeah.
We actually met, the way that we knew it was supposed to happen is we met on the wrestling themed improv comedy show. And we both kind of went, oh, all right, well, that's the most meant to be thing I've ever seen, because he's also a wrestler. He wrestles for SOS Pro Wrestling under
Okay,
Alexis.
all right. So so he's a wrestler too. I get it. He's not just a comedian. Okay, right.
Yeah, he does all of the above. But I didn't expect to meet him at all. And I auditioned for him in his company because he had an improv club in Seattle that was different than the one that we auditioned for together. And he cast me in one of the shows that he did there. Then we met on this different show. And so it was kind of like, oh, cool, you cast me before we were dating, and now we're super cool. We ended up coming to Florida, to Jacksonville last year, and starting our own thing. So totally unexpected, but wouldn't change a thing.
Awesome. Can you give us a little bit of a taste now of what kind of improv you do? If I give you a topic, if I just say WWE in the Attitude Era, can you give us a 1-minute set maybe for improv?
Yes, but I think we should frame it a little bit differently, because usually the way that with improv, like, we do it short form, like by games, so it's not exactly like stand up, but this is the closest way that I can bridge the gap.
Okay.
There's an oldest joke format in the book. It's 185, right? So we would say 185 blanks walk into a bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve 185 blanks," and the blanks reply punchline. So give me the suggestion of penguin.
Okay. Penguin.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you for the suggestion of penguin. 185 penguins walk into the bar.
Right.
The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you." And the penguins say, "Oh no, waddle. We do." I had time to think about that one though.
What? Oh, that was good.
So give me another suggestion, and we'll see if I can come up with anything. No, pressure's on.
Oh boy, the pressure's on me too. All right. So, red panda.
Red panda. Okay.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite animal.
It's an excellent animal. What do red pandas eat? Bamboo?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they sleep a lot. Yeah.
185. Okay, this doesn't exactly work because it's red, but we're going to start with panda and we'll work our way up. 185 pandas walk into a bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you." And the pandas are so drunk, they're stumbling around. They say to the bartender, "Hey, you should serve us, because we went out there and everything, our vision's all blurry. It's all black and white." Let's see what else.
Standing applause. All right.
185 red pandas walk into a bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you." And they're uproarious. They're pissed. They're absolutely livid. And they said, "Hey, you're not going to serve us. We're going to make a bunch of noise in your bar." Bam! Boo!
Yeah. Nice. Very good.
Red panda. Give me a different one. That one's hard.
All right. I'll give you one more animal. Okay. All right. Giraffe.
You said Rex. Oh, giraffe. Okay.
Yeah. I'm loving this.
And the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed." What's that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, just a little bit delayed. I think we're good. I think we're back. Yeah, just start from the beginning. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, that's good. That gave me more time to think. 185 giraffes walk into a bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you." And the giraffes go, "Wait, can you say that again? Sorry, it's really loud in here. You're not coming through very well. It's all kind of spotty."
Nice one.
I don't know, man. You said wrestlers earlier, right? Anyway, that's one game that we play, but most of improv is collaborative, right? So I'm up there on stage with a bunch of people, and we're like doing scenes. Like Wild and Out, or Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes, I used to love that show. Yeah.
Yeah. And you imagine you put them up there, and it's like, well, they're not going to monologue about a thing. They're going to collaboratively work together. So, I mean, I have this guy, but he doesn't do me much good, honestly. He just...
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, that was me.
Oh, yeah, that was you, huh? Oh, that's right. For those of you who can't see, I'm holding up a pink pig. That wasn't actually our host. They're like, "Ooh, what was that?"
Maybe you're right. Maybe we should do one more, and I'll probably clip this for an Instagram video. So if I suggest a wrestler, and then someone from the Attitude Era, or just any wrestler.
I mean, or wrestlers broadly.
Okay.
Wrestling broadly. Yeah. Do you have somebody in mind?
Yeah.
Who do you have in mind?
The Undertaker.
Undertaker. I'm trying to make it good. If you're trying to clip it, just give me a second. I'm gonna vamp. Okay. Yeah, we got this. 185. Okay, 185 undertakers walk into the bar. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you." And the undertakers look at the bartender and they go, "You can't serve us, huh? You can't serve us? What do you have over in that corner over there?" Bartender said, "What do you mean what I have in the corner?" "It's a bunch of old wheels. What are you gonna do over there?" "It's a pile of drivers." Pile drivers. It's terrible. That one's terrible. I gotta think of a different one.
It took me a second. I'll blame it on the delay. No, that was good. Do you want one more? Do you want one more? Like another type of gimmick, maybe?
Sure.
Oh boy. All right. Okay. And I saw him wrestle recently on the Survivor Series 96.
Okay.
Hillbilly Jim. Yeah.
Hillbilly Jim.
So 185 hillbillies.
Hillbilly Jim. Oh, hillbillies or hillbilly Jims?
Okay. Oh yeah, hillbilly Jims. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. What was here? Maybe you can cut this part out. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But what was his finisher? Do you know off the top of your head?
I do not. I can't remember. He did wrestle. It was just a DDT. Was it something generic? I don't think he.
Yeah. I want to do him justice, just in case somebody who's a fan listens to this and it's like, "That's a crappy pun about my favorite wrestler." Sorry, it was on the spot. What do you want me to do? 185 hillbillies walk into the bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you." And it's a female bartender, and they say, "What do you mean, lady? What do you mean you can't serve us? We're really grasping at straws here. I mean, this lady won't serve us. You know what we should do? We should put her out to pasture. We should farm her."
Hey. But good one. Improv is hard, yeah, but you absolutely nailed that. You nailed it.
Very generous way of saying your joke was garbage.
Hey, I was gonna ask as well, actually, and this was actually in my list earlier. One more, yeah, to do with improv and comedy. What's your favorite knock joke?
It's classic. It's dumb. I love a dumb joke.
I love a dumb dad joke. Yeah. So. Yeah.
All right. Knock knock.
Who's that?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
Yeah.
For those of y'all listening, if you could see his face, he's like, "And that was Vicky Dreamboat, everybody. No more Vicky." That's right.
Oh, we'll be on YouTube too. So yeah, we'll be able to. Yeah. Everyone's just seeing me cringe into my own face. Nice.
Man, I've got a lot more. Like, I wish that I had one more person here so we could just do like a word at a time improv game or something.
Like a joke off. Yeah, like a joke off. I remember. Yeah. Oh, there was there's a YouTube channel, you may have heard of him, called All Deaf Digital.
Okay.
Yeah, and they would do dad joke offs, and they'd have a list of, and it's like if the other person laughs, then they get a point.
Oh, I think I've seen them on TikTok maybe, but that's the game. 185 is like the only game that we play or not the only game, but we call it a line game or a pun game because all of our players will stand in a line. Yeah. We'll get a suggestion, like, "What did you say the suggestion was?" "Oh, the suggestion of cereal. Thank you." And then we'll roll with that and think of puns for different cereal brands or whatever,
No, it was great. I'd actually take it to like my workplace. I work in a school, and I would, during like our lunchtime, I'd play with the other teachers, and it was always a laugh.
If you want an all ages appropriate one that's not about bars, there's an improv game called Back in My Day.
Mm-hmm.
And the format is back in my day, you pretend like you're geriatric. "Back in my day, we didn't have blank. We just had two punchline," So if it was like one of the suggestions that you gave me earlier, or cereal, right? "Back in my day, we didn't have cereal, so there was nothing to make us feel special." Okay.
Oh, okay, God, look at that.
That kind of thing.
I want to give you one more then. One more for that now.
Okay.
Is that okay? All right. So
yeah, this is fun. This is like one of my favorite things to do in the world. I would go all day.
What topic? Have you got a special topic or just any topic? Or
it's better if you come up with it because then everybody will know it's improv instead of me coming up with it.
All right. Okay then. I can say named brands on this without getting a copyright strike. Snickers.
Yeah, how about candy bars? Like
Yeah, candy bars. Yeah, candy bars.
Okay. You said back in my day, we didn't have candy bars. There was no joy, no laughter, no Snickers. That's
No
Snickers.
No Snickers.
What are other candy bars?
What's the biggest ever? Let's say I'm gonna use a wrestling term. What's the biggest ever pop you've gotten in a improv comedy show?
Just last week or the week before.
Okay.
I think the suggestion was, I was so proud of this one. The suggestion for 185 was scientists, or like chemists, scientists. And so I said, let's see if I can remember. 185 scientists walk into the bar, and the bartender says, "I'm sorry, we're closed. We can't serve you." And the scientists go, wait. No, it's okay. We don't want to drink. We just, that teeny tiny little picture of that 80s, 90s punk band that you have up on the bar, we want to see it. We really need to see that microscopic. Microscopic. It's a thinker. Got a big pop.
Really? Okay. Well, they're all smarter. They're all smarter than me then, because I was
had to be there.
Yeah.
Well, we had warmed them up.
I guess live too. I guess live is just a different atmosphere.
It's a different energy. There's another one that I came up with for puzzle that people really liked, but you know, based on your reaction from microscopic, I don't know.
Try me. I like puzzles.
185 puzzles walk into a bar, kind of conspiratorially, right? Sneaking around, and the bartender says, "Hey, we're closed. We can't serve you. And also, why are you guys acting all weird, like you're plotting something against us?" And they go, the puzzles say, "Hey, we weren't actually planning to overthrow you. It was a Sudoku." Sudoku. Yes.
I got that one
laughing for those of you who can't see him. It's happening. The laughter's there.
That's a good one. I like that. That's the best one yet. You've ended on a high note. Good stuff.
We'll take it.
Yes. Awesome.
My favorite game for 2 hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that's like the biggest tangent I've ever been on since starting these whole podcasts. And I do 3 different podcasts, so believe me, that's the biggest tangent. Okay.
Oh man.
Gaming, Marvel, and wrestling. Anyway, so I want to go back to the beginning.
Yes.
All the way back to the beginning. Yeah. So,
okay.
Vicky, what's your earliest memory of wrestling as a fan?
Yeah, this is a good question, and I think you're going to be disappointed by the answer. I did not start watching wrestling until 3 or 4 years ago. So wow. I was not like one of the, and it's a very different than most people's stories, I would say, because most people are like, I grew up watching wrestling. This is all I've ever wanted to do. Or like, I had all these icons, and I was aware of wrestling, but I was not, I'd say, a fan until the very first match that I ever saw was The Undertaker versus Mankind Hell in a Cell. And I saw that in 2018.
That's a pretty good starter, let's be honest.
Yeah, I was completely hooked. Because the person that showed it to me was like, okay, you know, wrestling is, you know, he used the F word. And I was like, fake? No way. And he was like, well, I mean, and he explained wrestling to me, which if anybody did that to me now, I'd punch him in the face. But at that time it was appropriate. Sure. Right. And so I was going into it understanding that, but he kept pausing it and like being like, here's what the Undertaker's deal is. Here's Mankind's deal, and Mick Foley and all this. And I was just completely captivated. So I watched it once with him. I went home. I watched it by myself. I took notes, and then I just started watching wrestling, learning about wrestling. Like I got completely hooked. I learned about the 4 horsewomen, right? I went back, I started watching the Attitude Era, like just went full bore. And I've been hooked ever since.
I say thank goodness for the WWE network then, right? So it's all there, right?
Yeah. And now we have Peacock, which is just about as good.
I don't know if it works. I can't remember really. It's been a while since I've watched the network fully. But does it have like a little thing like Netflix coming up saying, are you still watching? And it's like 30 hours later and you're still there. Like you've been up for like over a day. Like, and it's like, are you still there, Vicky? Are you still there? Yes, I'm still here.
I think the network knows better than to cut me off, because if I fell asleep watching wrestling, it's exactly what I wanted to do. But it might have it for other people. I don't know. But as far as I know, no, there's no. It'll just play and drain all my electricity forever.
Yeah, and so what motivated you to really want to get into the business fully, 4 years ago?
So I didn't start wrestling until towards the end of 2020. But I didn't even really start then. I would say that I started when I got to Nightmare Factory in October of 2021. So about 6.5, 7 months ago now. I was motivated to initially start just because it was our friend bought a wrestling ring during the pandemic, put it in his backyard. He was kind of in like our pod of safe people where we were like, well, we see him all the time. We're exposed to him. Like we're all kind of seeing the same people. So we feel comfortable at this point. And it was an outdoor activity. So he is an incredible wrestler. His name is Dean Cooper, the Ultimate Guy. Look him up. Him and then another guy named Pitfall Jones decided to start this like backyard wrestling promotion that was all online called SOS Pro Wrestling, which I know in England they've got SOS Wrestling. I know you're not in England right now. They do have that as well. And so we were like very careful. That was motivating to me to at least learn the fundamentals. But I completely stopped wrestling pretty much until I got to the Nightmare Factory in October. And that just really, frankly, lit a fire under my ass because I wanted it. I wanted to get better. My goal was to get onto AEW Dark before I was 30. And I'm 27 now. So
I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a place to start training. Let's be honest. Some of the stories I've heard, especially from like my friends in the UK, and they're like, yeah, I was training in just a warehouse with one rusty wrestling ring and barely any padding, and they go home sore every night. And then for you, it's like, yeah, 4 wrestling rings, top class facility.
I mean,
you're living the good life. Oh, sure, yeah. But you're living the best life, right? When it comes
100%.
to the training.
No, I can't. It was an incredible way to start. And the program that they have in that 12-week camp is amazing because you do 2 hours of lifting, like strength and conditioning. You get a little bit of a break, and then you do 2 hours of in-ring. But I was lucky. In the first camp, I was the only girl, so I got to stay for the advanced class. So I was doing 4 hours or 5 hours of in-ring, and that helped me get much better, much faster. Because even if you're exhausted, you're still like, you hit your head enough times, and you're like, I can keep going. But absolutely, like the best place to train, just hands down, no contest.
So for some of those matches that you said that you had while you were training at the Nightmare Factory, yeah, you said you had 2 matches while you were. I
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what's your go-to finisher move at the moment?
Oh, man, I always lose, so I don't know.
You never get a chance. You not had a chance yet.
I do the Casadora Bulldog. So the wheelbarrow bulldog, but Coach QT was like, that's not really a finisher. And I was like, fair. Okay. So I've done the Casadora stunner, anything out of a Casadora. The other one that I've won on is a 619 of all. Oh,
really?
Things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I call it getting shipwrecked. So usually because you get your ship wrecked.
I like that. I did see that. I saw the hashtag in your Twitter bio. I did like that. Get shipwrecked.
Yeah.
I did my research.
I appreciate that. Thank you. You do more than me. I don't know anything. I just work here. I don't know. I just hang out on boats.
It's my first day.
Yeah, right. 100%. That's one. I would like to get a new finisher at some point, or start becoming known for a finisher, because there's other things that I've done before that that I think would qualify as. It's just so hard to have a protected finish these days.
Nice one. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And what was it like? I believe it was Baron Corbin's finisher, which is like his is the finisher at the moment that's been protected the longest. But now I think finally someone kicked out of it, very recently. But it was protected for like over 10 years or something, like as long as he'd been wrestling. No one kicked out of the End of Days. Yeah. And then finally someone was like, and everyone was like, oh my God. I think the commentators are going mad, like finally someone kicked out. Yeah. And how about, my podcast is called the Tapping Out Podcast. So as far as like submissions go, again, what's your go-to if you want to really put the pain on someone, let's say?
Yeah, I think my submission would be the Rings of Saturn. Do you know that one?
Yeah, Perry Saturn. Yeah, good choice. Yeah. Good shout out. Yeah.
I don't have a nautical name for it yet though, because it hasn't come up. So if you or your listeners want to help me come up with a nautical name for the Rings of Saturn, make it happen, make it so.
The rings. I was going to say. I was just trying to maybe link it to the Bermuda Triangle, but that's a triangle.
It is. I know. Unfortunately, I wish triangles were circles too.
Me too. Ugh, what a shame.
Yeah, that's a good little piece of engagement. If folks want to try to help me come up with something, just tag me at Vicky Dreamboat. And is
Thank
it
you.
at Tapping Out Podcast? Is that your Twitter handle?
Tapping Out Pod, yeah. Because I'm trying to sound cool with it, as cool as I can, as hip. All the cool kids say pod, right? I don't know. I'm 28. I'm getting old now. So
Man, if you're getting old, what does that mean for me? Because I'll be 28 next year.
29. I'm 29 this month. Okay. I'm almost on the wrong side of it.
Before 30.
Yeah, still before 30. Cheers. Drinking water. Water's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got this it's like fake water. I don't trust my tap water, even though it's perfectly safe. So I just end up buying these bottled waters and then refilling them with like other water from better places.
Oh, in China, I only drink bottled water too. I wouldn't recommend drinking it out of a tap unless you're gonna boil it, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Where in China do you live right now?
I live up near Shanghai. That's what most people will know. If I say I'm near Shanghai, I'm about an hour away, an hour or two. Yeah.
Do you speak Chinese?
你好, 我是英语老师.
Great. That's great. I know ni hao. That was it.
Yeah. That's like, hello, I am a English teacher. Yeah.
Perfect. Wonderful. That's very cool. I didn't realize that's why you were there. What a cool experience.
我会说, I don't know how to say wrestling in Chinese. I was gonna say I can speak about wrestling, but I don't really know how to say wrestling. But yeah, 我会说 grapple.
Well, yeah. Don't worry, I don't know how to say it either, so that's going to help.
Oh no, really? Okay. And whereabouts in Florida are you? Are you in the Keys?
I'm not. Oh, that sounds great, but I'm not. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida.
So you're currently training at the moment in Jacksonville, Florida. And, yeah.
It's at I don't know. I'm at Continental Championship Wrestling.
Yes, I know them very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Miles Blackwell is one of the guys.
He's such a class act.
He's violent in the ring, but I'll tell you what, outside he is just one of the best people I've ever met in wrestling. Hands down, like just an incredible guy. The very first time I ever trained with him, I was like, hey, do you know how to do this move? And he was like, no, but we'll figure it out. I was like, oh, you know what? I've seen you work. I bet we will. And I trusted him, and I was right to trust him. He's just like right there. So good. And plus,
you know, he's a massive Oasis fan, which helps.
That's right. That's what I've heard.
How often do you get the chance, right? I've spoken to other people, plenty of people actually from Jacksonville, and we've always talked about how big it is for wrestling. You know, it's such a huge wrestling community in Jacksonville. How often do you get the chance to visit AEW as a fan? Have you been to like Daly's Place and that kind of thing?
Yeah, when we first moved here, they were still at Daly's Place. They're not at Daly's Place so much now because they're on tour, which makes sense. They can be. But I went to Daly's Place 4 or 5 times in the first few months that we moved here.
It looks insane. Like the atmosphere in those shows looks incredible. Like
so much fun, much fun. And I was fortunate enough to get the floor seats early on one show for a decent price and not break the bank. And it was just like being that. And now it's funny because even knowing a lot of the sign talent who have come through the Nightmare Factory or having seen them in other capacities and at other shows and knowing them, I still am like, nah, I'm a huge fan. I don't even care. I can sit and have a conversation with you and be totally normal. But the back of my mind, I'm definitely screaming because you're so freaking talented.
Yeah. I love actually seeing what QT Marshall does on AEW.
Yes.
He's such a class act. I know people love to hate him, let's say on camera, but it's like he does such good work in the ring as far as to use the term putting people over.
Oh, absolutely. So
yeah.
I would say he is the most underrated wrestler of our time right now.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I'm biased because I'm a student, but I'm still, I think it's true. And I know many other folks who are veterans who know way more about wrestling than I do that would say the same thing.
I think I'm going to clip that. I think put that on Instagram at some point. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. All right. I think it's time.
Okay.
If you're ready.
Maybe.
And I'm going to click my fingers, and when I click my fingers, the magical music will start. But you won't hear the music until we watch the actual video later on. But yeah.
Fair enough.
So, are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready for some trivia? Okay. Here we go then. So you can start dancing now. Pretend to start dancing because we can hear the music, right? Just pretend you're hearing the best quiz music ever, okay?
I am. You know I am.
All right, so this quiz is all about every opponent that The Rock has faced in a WWE pay-per-view. Right.
That's so rude. Oh man. Okay, I'm ready.
Did say it was a surprise. Right, it goes from like 96 to like WrestleMania 32. Do you know what I mean? So
I know what you mean.
So don't worry. I'll start from the most recent because unless I don't know. Would you rather? Okay, it's up to you. It's your choice. Shall I start from 97 and then choose some and go through, or from WrestleMania 32 and go back?
I think it's dealer's choice. I don't know how well I'm gonna do, but we'll see. I think just you just do what you think is best, and I will do my best, and hopefully nobody writes me off forever.
All right then.
I don't know years.
All right then, Vicky. So question number 1, yeah.
Okay.
Who was The Rock's opponent at WrestleMania 29?
What year was that?
Oh boy. 29 was 2012.
2012? At WrestleMania, not because he wrestled CM Punk in Elimination Chamber around that time. WrestleMania
29, yeah.
Ooh.
Who was his opponent on the grandest stage of them all?
I'm thinking. Okay, Stone Cold was 2003. I don't know. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible fan. I'm sorry.
Are you tapping out? Question 1.
1, 2, 3. Already tapped out.
Okay, John Cena.
Really? I knew.
Yes.
I thought that was later.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought it went like Austin and then somebody and then Cena and then CM Punk.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
all right.
Well, okay. All right. So you're 0 for 1, yeah?
Don't care for this at all. I'm an A+ student. All right, hit me with question 2.
All right, next one, yeah. Question number 2, who was The Rock's opponent at the Royal Rumble in 2013?
That was CM Punk too, wasn't it?
Yes, correct. Ding, ding. Good stuff. All right, 1 for 1. Good stuff, yeah. Because I did see Elimination Chamber next at the list, and I'm like, you already said that. So, okay, Royal Rumble 2013. Nice.
Does that count if I got it right without?
Of course it does. Of course. Right. Okay. Next one. We're going a little bit further back. All right. Who were the 2 opponents that The Rock faced at Survivor Series 2011?
I know I've seen this match, but I'm totally drawing a blank, so I'm tapping out again.
Tapping out. The Miz and R-Truth. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Seen it. Couldn't remember for the life of me.
Now it's easy. And now it's easy. It's like, yeah. Now I know.
Of course it was. Ugh, big ears.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. So you're 1 for 2. Yeah.
Terrible.
That's all right. I think you can come back. You can come back. Okay. All right. We're moving back. We're gonna go back at 8 years from 2011. So, who was The Rock's opponent at Backlash 2003?
Backlash 2003.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania in 2003 was Stone Cold. Backlash. Hogan was 2006? I'm just going to say Hogan because I can't remember.
Goldberg.
Steve Austin?
No,
it was also Punk?
Goldberg.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing. This is the worst game I've ever played in my entire life. I'm extremely competitive. This makes me very angry. I want you to know. And shoot.
I think I can see like, yeah, for anyone on YouTube, yeah, you can see them. Yeah. For anyone who's just listening, just know that she's pissed.
She's pissed. She's so mad. So mad.
All right, let's go. I remember you saying that during the Attitude Era, you were quite good with stuff. So let's go to some from the Attitude Era, okay?
See what happens.
So, how about SummerSlam, who was The Rock's opponent at SummerSlam 2000?
At this point, I can't even get my brain to work because it's like, this is so humiliating for me.
Oh,
I have no idea.
I like to bring out every kind of emotion here on the Tapping Out podcast.
Just make Vicky hate herself. SummerSlam 2000, nothing. I got nothing.
If you cry, that's more views. I'm just kidding.
Vicky Dreamboat cries in first interview where Vicky Dreamboat
That's what I'll
cries.
type. That's what I'll type for the YouTube description,
Oh my
and the people will be like,
God.
"What?" Yeah.
This is terrible.
SummerSlam death.
Wasn't
SummerSlam
Triple H,
2000.
right?
I'll give you a clue for it. Yeah, it was a triple threat. He had two
It was a
opponents.
triple threat.
Yeah, and Triple H was one of them. So that's 0.5 of a point. So there you go. Who was his other opponent?
Was it Kurt Angle? Was it
Very
Triple
good.
H and Kurt Angle?
Got it.
Yes!
Got it.
I got one.
So what's that? 2 for 3. There you go. You're pulling it back.
D. Still
Pulling it
a
back.
D plus, but we'll
Pulling
take
it back. You're pulling it back again. All right, let's go to WrestleMania 15. Who was The Rock's opponent in a singles match? Or should I say a no DQ match? Sorry, at WrestleMania 15. XV WrestleMania 15, which I believe was in the year 1999.
Was it the Big Show?
One more try. One more try.
Uh,
I'll give you one more try to get the full point. Come on.
the full point. Was it just one person?
Yeah, I believe in you. Come on. Everyone's rooting for you. Everyone's like, come on,
No,
Vicky.
I don't got it. I'm just gonna say Mick Foley because I love him, but I have no idea.
Steve Austin.
What?
Steve
Wait,
Austin.
What year was it?
WrestleMania 15. So I believe it was 99. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 2000. No, 2003 was when it was Steve Austin. Man, and that's like my favorite Rock match too. It was, yeah, March 28th, 99. Yeah. Ah. Yeah, that's like my favorite. I told
Dude.
you I don't do dates. If you ask me what happened in the match, I can tell you the finish most of the time, but that's not the question.
I don't do dates either because, no one's interested in me at the moment. Hey, you get it? See? Yeah. Keeping up with it. Yeah.
I feel it.
Chris Valentine cried on the 7 Out podcast.
As long as you cry too, then we're fine.
All right. Okay. Last one. Yeah. So you're 2 for 4. Yeah. Let's see if you can get back to that 3 for 4. Okay. All right.
50%.
So we're gonna go last one. Yeah. SummerSlam 98.
Okay.
Who was his opponent in a ladder match?
I don't know. I'm not gonna know these. You're just making me look like a fool, man. I got nothing for you.
Nothing tapping
I'm sure
out.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
100%.
Triple H. Ladder match.
Cool.
Cool story, bro.
Great game. Love this
Yeah.
game. So much fun. Having a blast.
GG's, yeah. GG's.
I'm usually like a better sport than this, but I'm actually very upset. I'm very disappointed in myself.
Should we pause the podcast for a minute and you take a minute?
Okay. No, we won't. I'll be tough.
2 for what's that? 2 for 5? Oh, yeah.
We don't need to worry. We don't need to worry about the percentages.
I'll mix it around. You get 1,000,000 points just for being a good sport. How about that?
Oh, I was not a good sport. It was a terrible sport.
You definitely gave it a good try. Yeah.
I tried. I will.
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I was talking to my coach Luke Sampson at the Nightmare Factory, and he was like, "Do you even watch wrestling?" Because he was like, "Oh, this Goldberg match at
Do you even know wrestling, Vicky?
2001, this
Yeah.
and this," and I was like, "Yeah, dude. I'm not a mark though," and he was like, "Oh, you."
Oh,
did it."
sick burn.
He slammed me extra hard in the drill that we were doing, but then he
Right.
was like, "You have to," and this is something that I've taken to heart, and this is true. I'm just bad at it. He's like, all the wrestling fans are smarter than you, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Excuse me?" And he was like, "About wrestling," and I said, "Okay, that's fair." He said, because there's people like I said, I started watching wrestling 3 or 4 years ago, right? And so there's people who have been watching wrestling for 20, 30, 40 years who have this like database, who the most important thing to them was like, yeah, of course I can tell you what match this person was in 1991. of who they were versus at which pay-per-view, right? And like
Yeah.
that's something that I'm terrible at. I'm stretched a little too thin. So I'm sorry. I let everybody down. If The Rock is listening to this, please don't hate me. I promise I've seen all your
If The Rock
matches.
listens to my podcast, my God, I can happily retire, right?
We'll tag him. We'll see. We'll be like, hey, Rocky, guess what? At Vicky
Jumping,
Dreamboat,
yeah,
don't let
like, want to
nobody
jump in on the
touch you.
Zoom call, Rock? Like, yeah. We'll do a
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
forth improv session.
Even though I was a bad sport, I did have fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think ever since I've started doing these quizzes and trivia, like, yeah, it's been a firm favorite. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, and as long as my guest enjoys it, then that's the important thing.
Yeah, I'll hold my tears till after.
When you oh, and I need to do this too, to stop the music, because the music was still playing. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Just in the background, just fading out slowly. So what's the you just talked then, about one of your coaches, and he pushed you super hard that day after the sick burn. So since joining the Nightmare Factory, what's the hardest bump you've ever taken, would you say? The thing that maybe just made you go, as you get back up, you're like, maybe this isn't for me, but you still, obviously you powered through, but
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm still not very good, so I bump wrong and hard a lot, but I did get kicked in the face and have a black eye. If you scroll through my social media, I was wearing this shirt, you can see, and that was, it wasn't really like an I quit moment, but it was one of those like, fuck, that hurts moments, because it was the first time I'd ever actually been kicked in the face. I'd been like punched near the face, but people always missed or like clocked me in the jaw or whatever. It was fine. Like I'd been in fights and stuff, but I'd never been kicked. So there was a girl that I was training with in the last camp, and she was brand spanking new. Not really her fault, just one of those things that happens. And she was doing the up and over out of the corner, and she was still learning. And so we had done it. You do a drill where you go back and forth 5 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, corner to corner. And she had done it 3 times where I was able to get under her. And so I was like, dude, this is great. Like, we've been doing this 3 weeks. You haven't even been able to do it at all. Like, let's keep going. I'm going to just keep going under you finally. And on the 4th one, for some godforsaken reason, she didn't jump. And so when she landed, her entire heel came down into my eye. And I've actually, I don't know if you can see the bruise, probably not. This was like almost 8 weeks ago now.
Okay.
And I still have.
Oh, it's healed very well. Yeah, it's healed very well. Yeah, thank God.
It healed super fast, but I still have like partial vision in this eye, and it's still very sore up here. So that was like a little bit tricky of like, ooh, that was definitely the second worst injury I've ever had.
I've never had a black eye, so yeah, you're alone there as far as for this podcast.
Yeah, it was a tricky one.
I remember I did do wrestling training for like a couple of weeks, and then, to use the name of my own podcast, and then I tapped out. But the biggest the biggest bump I ever took was a power bomb.
Oh yeah, did the person not put you down right, or?
He just he put me down. He just put me down hard, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk right for a week. After it was bad.
Was it on your lower back? But
it's all the back, Vicky. Just all the back. Just everywhere. It reverberated. It reverberated through my soul. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. Yeah, you feel that one right in the soul for sure. I take power bombs all the time because I'm a smaller competitor, and so when I throw ranas, that's a really cool, because I throw a lot of hurricanranas, and so like girls will catch you, or guys or whatever, when I'm training and put you down in a power bomb. So I've gotten very used to those, but definitely if you don't tuck your chin, that
sure
hurts.
Well, yeah, the concussion would have been worse. Thank God I didn't get the concussion too.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, that's what kind of style you're going for, right? As we finish up with the present and move to the future, is that what kind of style you're going for? The high flying?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I really
just don't know
yet.
Yeah.
I know. I should know the answer to this question. I really like chaining. I really like, kind of like more amateur style or folk style wrestling. And that, like grappling. I really like high flying, but I'm very bad at flipping. Terrible at it. Truly awful. Can't take a hip toss to save my life. Any match you've ever seen where I take one, I eat shit every time. It's awful. I'm very bad at them. But I don't have any trouble jumping off the top rope and trying, because I don't have a lot of concern for my safety. So I don't know is the true answer to your question. I'm sorry. I wish I knew.
I also remember from going back to my training again, I always remember a snapmare. For some reason, a snapmare was so difficult for me because I would always put down the wrong knee. If I was trying to give a snapmare to someone, I'd always put it I put down the left, I'd keep the left knee up. And it's like that. Right. And then it's like,
and you honk them?
Yeah, once or twice I did. Yeah. And then if it was me taking the snapmare, as you said, I just wouldn't be able to flip over properly, and it's just an absolute shit show. But yeah,
100% understood. Wrestling in general isn't for everybody, right? But there's some moves that some wrestlers are like, I won't do it. And right now, it's not for me. It's not I won't do it. It's I'll do it, but it'll look terrible. Yeah. I'm so new. Like really, if you think about it, I've only been formally training for like cumulatively 6 to 8 months. But I get that everybody's got those moves. So.
All right, good stuff. All right, so yeah, like I said, every time I'd always eat shit with the snapmare, and it wasn't fun. But it wasn't fun in the moment. But I think looking back, I can see the positives.
Absolutely. It's good to do things that you don't feel comfortable with sometimes. That's how you grow.
Yeah. All right, and now I think it's time for us to look to the future, Vicky. Yes. The future of your wrestling career, the future of your boating career, all the futures, all of your improv,
all the futures
and everything. And especially now that I have to say congratulations, of course, because we've recently just seen you on AEW. Yeah, we've just seen you on AEW Dark against Abadon. Can you tell us a little bit? What can you tell us about that? Maybe from like the backstage of it all, and how did it feel walking through that curtain for the first time in an AEW show?
Yeah, definitely. I will say I have many things to say about it. The match was so much fun. Just the whole experience was incredible. I was very nervous leading up to it, but I walked out there and I was so eerily calm. I have never been that calm before for any match. And this was the biggest match of my career. Never in my life have I been so calm. It just completely melted away. And because I knew the match, I knew what we were like, aside from the couple of things that maybe were called in the ring, I knew what we were doing. And I was so confident that it was going to go well. And it did. I didn't get the win, but that's okay. It'd be like that sometimes. That I don't know. I get a little bit emotional thinking about it because I worked so hard for so long to earn that opportunity. I really, really owe it to Coach QT, even Coach Cody, though he's not with AEW anymore. He really helped push me and helped get me that opportunity, and to Captain Sean Dean, who's with AEW too, because he was, different salute for me. He was instrumental in making sure that I got to have that booking. So of course, I owe so much to my coaches for getting me that, but it was so much fun. But getting to meet everybody backstage, I learned probably 100 names, just so cool.
I can tell how much it means to you just by how you were chatting about it then. Absolutely. So let's look to the future then. Do you want to carry on for sure? Yeah, you want to carry on with AEW as much as possible, as long as they'll have you back. And then what's the goal? What's the goal, the end goal, would you say? Your one 5-year plan for pro wrestling. I want to hear about it. Yeah.
In the next 5 years, I would like to have a contract somewhere. And I'm not attached to where at this time. I think that the product that Impact Wrestling puts out is incredible. I think WWE is incredible. I think AEW is incredible. I think they're all wonderful in their own right. And so whatever company is like, Vicky is the right fit for us, that's the one I want to go to. Even though, of course, I have a lot of loyalty to the Nightmare Factory, the thing that I'll do the most is listen to what my coaches say. And so if my coaches say, go this direction, go that direction, that's the direction that I'll run and go full bore. I have so much other stuff going on this year. I'm getting married. I'm starting a business. My fiance and I are starting. I have started. Thank you. Yeah, have started a business. We're running Comedy Sports World Championships in Seattle this year. So this year is crazy. And I don't know. Besides a few bookings here and there in Florida and in Georgia, what the future holds rather. But I would say that within the next 5 years, it would be incredible to have a contract somewhere.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right, and I think the last question, and I always love to wrap up the podcast in this way. What are you, as far as your pro wrestling career goes, Vicky, so far, what are you most grateful for when it comes to pro wrestling?
Frankly, I feel like I sound like a broken record. The people that I'm most grateful for are all of my coaches and all of the staff at the Chip Smith Performance Center and Nightmare Factory. Because I truly couldn't have done any of this without them. I would suck so bad if I didn't have all of them. So definitely big shout out to coaches. I'm very grateful for them. I would say pro wrestling as a whole, I'm just grateful for the escape. And I'm grateful to get to be other people's escape. Because I think that one of the reasons that I started doing acting and performance is like that suspension of reality and that suspension of disbelief as a kid growing up, not with wrestling, but just with, Harry Potter, with Lord of the Rings, any fantasy, anything that I could sink my teeth into. That was my moment to like hone in and shut out whatever was bothering me. And so knowing that I get to do that thing and that pro wrestling is the thing that does that for me, there's that kind of inherent reciprocity. It means so much to me. So I would say I'm very grateful for that.
Fantastic. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, it's such a great form of escapism for so many people, pro wrestling. Just for an hour or two, you just turn your phone off and you just watch people beat the snot out of each other. It's great. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Or you get the snot beaten out of you.
Right. Fantastic. Well, Vicky, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today. The floor is yours, as people like to say.
Oh, man.
The
whole floor?
The whole floor. So yes.
I'm not made lava. Yeah. Okay. So
now it's a chance for social media and what you got going on right now, and yeah.
Perfect.
Time to plug. Yeah.
So definitely keep an eye out on AEW Dark. There may or may not be more matches in the future. That would be very cool if there were. I can neither confirm nor deny. And then you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm pretty bad at doing TikToks, but I'm pretty good at watching them. So there's that. And then YouTube, and I actually, and Facebook. There's a Vicky Dreamboat Facebook, and I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/Vicky Dreamboat. So if you want exclusive access to pretty much everything I post on social media, but early, exclusive photo shoots that I do not put on social media, discounts on merch, etc., blog posts, lives that don't go anywhere else, that's where you can find all that.
Fantastic. And I'll be sure to put all that in the description too. All the best with the rest of your pro wrestling career, your improv career, your modeling career, your acting career, your boating career. Oh my goodness, almost the five things. Yeah. Good luck with everything and into the rest of 2022 and beyond.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And as always, not just thank you to Vicky Dreamboat for joining the show today, but thank you to all of you as well. If you enjoyed what you saw, please give me a like, comment, subscribe, and ring-a-ding my notification bell as well. Thank you very much, and I can't wait to see you and speak to you all again on the next episode of the Tapping Out podcast. Bye-bye.